Hey everyone, Captain Amazing here, and today we're going to go over my second round of 5v5 Grand Arena. So if you like this content, go ahead and like and subscribe. So let's jump into it. So my opponent is Nicholas. He's really uncivilized. He's with the dark side of Russia. He has 8.7 million GP, 5 million in characters, 3.7 in ships. He does have a lot more time played than I do, even though he only has 800,000 GP more than me. He's played for 20,000 Galactic War Battles, so over 4 years. So it's a good amount of time played. So he has 6 GLs. Gas, Darth Malgus, Cat, Maul. He has a lot of the things. Jedi Knight Luke. So he doesn't have everything, but a good amount of stuff. He only has Executor and Profundity, no Scythe, no Leviathan. So I would say I have the slight advantage in fleets. So on his front wall, he does have Leia with no ult, Jabba, and Iden, and that's a Raddus on the bottom there. So the nothing too concerning. Still a good top wall. So we have Starkiller, Malgus, Lord Vader with Maul, and on the bottom there is Bossk Bounty Hunters. He does have good mods, so that Bossk Bounty Hunters is pretty fast. So for the first match, I went CLS against Starkiller. They did have Mace Windu in here. I felt like Mace was better on defense than Old Ben, because normally Old Ben just sits there and just waits for his turn to die. Mace Windu actually got a taunt and a counterattack in, so, you know, he did something. I still just kill Mara Jade right out. I go for Visas Mar because she can do the revive. And I'm not too worried about Palpatine or Starkiller. If they do get an AoE off, then they'll just die to counterattacks. But I do always save Starkiller for last. Sometimes like this, he just dies. So that makes it really easy, and that's why I like this counter. Sometimes it can be a little messy on the bounters, but it's really reliable. So this was my first battle with JML. I decided to use Lord Vader because if this ends up failing and I still Lord Vader ramps too much, then I could always bring in my bounty hunters to clean it up, but I don't want to. And I just thought that this team had the best chance for success, so I went with my JML. He is R9, so his team hits really hard. I hit for 90k every time I use JML special, so it really helps. I also am just trying to control Lord Vader as best as I can, increasing his cooldowns, ability blocking him, and that allows me to work down the sides as fast as possible. He still ults and he still does some things, so it's not a complete just absolute, you know, destroying him. But I do have some really low relics on Revan and General Kenobi, so these guys aren't holding as well as I thought they would, which is fine. I do have just Lord Vader here by himself. He kills General Kenobi, and then Jedi Knight Revan dies from dots. But I can control Lord Vader really well here with JML. His potency is pretty high, and he's R9, so it's going really well. Not perfect banners, but I do end up going through this Lord Vader in one shot, so I was happy with that, considering pretty good relics on Vader and Maul. All right, so for this bounty hunter team, you do have to do the math, especially with Zam's Omicron. I did end up checking the math and doing it, and my Imperial troopers did outspeed him at, I think it was like my Piet Axe at 364, and that was enough to outspeed their Bossk, who was their fastest. So after that, it's really easy. My Gideon is only like gear 8. And the Veers. And all right, so for Malgus, they did have Traya here with Omicron. They have HK47 for some reason. So this is a really irregular team. I decided to use Rey here just because I didn't have a other use for her. So that made this really easy because I was able to just whirlwind Traya out. So that took her out of the equation. This is an R8 Malgus, so he's pretty thick. And sometimes even this has the possibility of timing out or possibly losing, believe it or not. It's not a 100% guaranteed thing. But this team is pretty weak. There's no Malik. There's no Darth Revan. Traya died right away, so her effects were pretty nullified. Killed all the sides, and I'm just trying to work through Malgus as best as I can. He is super thick, so I'm just trying to get through him. Pretty surprised on how this does end with Ben here, just killing him. All right, so with Leia does not have her ult, and what that means is I can just absolutely blow through these ads. I don't have to worry about working around or going straight on Leia and trying to kill these ults or these ads passively, because she doesn't earn ult. That's the biggest reason why you can't go after her, is because it charges her ult. But if she doesn't have ult, then you know her teammates are fair game, and I can just kill them right away. So that's what I do. I just go straight for the ult, kill them. I have a bunch of bombs on them. They just die pretty much from sadness. And I'm just gonna go now all in on Leia after I eat R2, because that takes down her total health now that he's not sharing stats. And it's a super easy win from this point. There's nothing Leia can do. She doesn't have ult. She is R9, but still. And it just takes a second to work through her. But if I can, I'm just going to time my ult as best as I can. And then boom, full banners. Easy win. All right, so Iden against Wampa. This was really concerning for me, believe it or not. As you can see, her health is really low. And I have a doubt cron just for this reason, because they're all relic, and this relic 3 stormtrooper is super thick. I don't know what's going on here, but this relic 3 stormtrooper, I probably should have checked the modding on it. That stormtrooper is just taking very little damage, and I was a little worried. I was like, oh, maybe ramp and dots, it'll be fine. But as I go through, I'm like, man, this stormtrooper is just tanking like an absolute boss right now. And then the ranged trooper is really annoying, and then it's just like this balance of when I can try to get to an ult, I can kill them once, and then by the time stormtrooper taunts and I can't get around stormtrooper, and then by the time I can try to get around to one of the ads, then Iden's gonna put her revive back on them, so then I kill them, and then stormtrooper taunts. So I was a little worried here for a second. Yeah, so I finally got a kill. I almost killed stormtrooper there, and I was like, oh yeah, let me kill him. And then she put in the revive again, so that was like really concerning. But now that I'm starting to work through the ads, I'm like, okay, this isn't as concerning anymore. I really don't want to drop a battle on Iden versus Wampa, but I'm doing my best just to try to ramp up as much as I can so I can kill this stormtrooper, because it is an absolute menace. It has a ton of survivability even at relic 3, so pretty surprising. Yep, and then Wampa's rightly ramped, and yep, there you go. Just on time, the revive. But we're getting there. We're almost to the point where yep, was able to get it because Wampa's ramped enough and they didn't have enough recovery. And then after she's by herself, she just dies. Easy 68 banners. All right, so I wasn't too concerned. This is a really weak Jabba. It has Greedo for some reason. So easy 3-turn poke, swipe, and the team's pretty much dead. At that point, I just have to you know, this is a done battle at this point. There's nothing Jabba can do to SLKR. I didn't use the mass assist against Cursant there, if you notice, because if I would have, he would have just came back, because he wouldn't have died on SLKR's turn. And so easy 62 banners, pretty clean. I decided to use Malgus against Raddus. Raddus can be an absolute menace sometimes if he gets his ult off. And this team was modded really quickly. So they have really good speed stats. So I decided to use Malgus here just because I felt like this would be an easy win. Kill him, and then I can control Jin until with fears, and shocks and everything else so that she can't revive, and it'd be an easy win. So, and that's what ended up happening. I was really happy that I ended up having Malgus for this, because sometimes Raddus can be an absolute menace, and this the back wall wasn't much, but the top wall was a lot. So for GG, I ended up going with Savage. Pretty easy. He did have BB-8 there, which is supposed to be a trap for Wampa. So if you try putting Wampa here, BB-8 will put Tenacity down, and then pretty much Wampa could be controlled from there, and then you just die. Luckily for me, and unluckily for him, Savage has abilities where when you crit him, he dispels all his debuffs and gains turn meter. So BB-8 did absolutely nothing and just died immediately to Savage, so that wasn't a problem. At this point, I'm just whittling down these B1 stacks, and then it's just me and Grievous. I do have the offense ramping Datacron on Savage, and that's why he's hitting so hard on his basic. I do also have a crit damage triangle, so completely helps. Star Killer against Bad Batch, this was a complete just absolute slapping. It was just this is the back wall, these are the last teams, so I didn't want to again, this guy had good mods, so I didn't want to mess with it, because once Bad Batch start going, they're really good, but Star Killer easily crushed him. Alright, so I did Traya against this Mon Mothma team. It's not even a strong Mon Mothma team. But this is, again, the back wall, the last of what I need. So I decided to go with Darth Vader and Traya. And it was just a very, very easy win. Absolutely no issues here. So I'm pretty happy with how this fight turned out. Easy 65 banners. So now we have fleets. So I decided to go Finalizer against this Executor. It's been pretty reliable for me lately. I haven't been able to keep my my Thai enchilada alive, so I'll heal him to full, and then if they get the double tap with the Xanadu blood, then he dies, which they did get, so that was unfortunate. And this is where it gets a little dicey sometimes. So I need to just control Houndstooth as best as I can, while just killing off the sides, and unfortunately, because my tank died, they're free to just go ham on everyone. I did ramp my TIE silencer pretty well, and I'm able to control them, so that cleanse right there can be pretty dangerous depending on the speeds of everything, and I've lost some matches because they cleanse and then Houndstooth can get an ult, which is really annoying. But I'm able to keep this controlled. It dodged right there. He dodged my stun. That was really upsetting. That was really upsetting for me. And I was like, oh no, this could be like, this would be cleanup territory, but still, it's still a decent team with these three out there. So after I kill Houndstooth, I'm like, okay, I can clean this up. And I'm trying to decide, do I want to bring out my my Ebonhawk, or do I just want to assist with TIE Silencer here? Because if you look at his health, it's so little, so very little. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to try to kill him as best as I can. And then I was like, oh no, they brought out an ult, but it was a crappy one. So I decided to go for that. He's healed. My TIE Silencer has healed pretty much. And at this point, he's ramped up pretty beautifully. Even though they did the ult, I still got the win. So really happy with that. Really happy with that. All right, so Malevolence. Malevolence against the Executrix. Not too concerning. It is a decent fleet, but sometimes with the dodges, it can turbocharge the turn meter on, and then if they get the AoE on Executrix, I'm pretty much dead, because this team has 0 recovery and they're pretty squishy. So I decide to take those out. I like, the Palp shuttle is really annoying. They're getting some foresight, and it's hard to burn through because they gain protection up every time I crit, but I burned through that, and I was a little concerned because at this point the TIE Interceptor has a lot of foresight mechanics, and that's turbocharging the Executrix. And if they just get their ult, then I'm in trouble because I'll just die and lose. So I'm trying my best to mitigate their dodges, and then I was able to eke out a win. So pretty lucky right there. So TIE Silencer, I decided to use the Chimaera here. They just like blasted my Vader out just fine. I ended up taking out my TIE Defender. I'm trying to take out the TIE Interceptor, and he almost took out my my Defender in one hit, which was really concerning. So not the best. And if the Defender would have died right there, I would have been in some big trouble because I may have lost this. But luckily survived, was able to ult, heal him to full, and then kill the rest of the team. This was the final result. So I ended up getting 18-19, which is okay. I didn't drop any battles, but some of those were pretty messy, so I did drop a good amount of banners. I don't know if my opponent just normally doesn't attack, or they just didn't want to participate because I got the full clear without dropping any battles. But I was pretty confident I was going to win anyways, because my opponent didn't have a reliable counter for my Executor, my Leviathan and my Executor on defense. So I was pretty happy with this result. We'll see next time how it ends up turning out. But if you stayed in this long, thanks for watching. If you like this content, go ahead and like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. So take care.